SportsSqwad episode.
Okay. Man. We did it.
SportsSqwad.
That's unique right there, Tim. Good fucking job. SportsSqwad episode 3.
I actually think it's 4 or 5.
No, it's 3 now.
It's 3 now. Oh, okay. Sorry, the first 2 were preseason SportsSqwads.
You gotta get your warm-up games, trim your roster.
Yeah, gotta cut people.
No Kelven today, yet.
Maybe, who knows? You're running on that CPT, so we'll find out soon. He has a little more than an hour to get here. Preferably sooner rather than later. I don't want him showing up at 2:47. Oh, hey guys. Anyway, so this episode, Ryan is here. You may know him from other squadcasts. Not SportsSqwads, but squadcasts.
Hey. I'm the guy that they've missed in every other episode when they've tried to talk about hockey.
Right.
That's me. I'm the hockey nut.
We had a big complaint on our comments
Okay.
of lack of hockey talk.
There was a lack of of compliments about the hockey talk, so they brought me in to set the record straight.
Right, yeah. You guys have baseball and football and basketball covered. There's not enough hockey though.
Need more hockey. That's how it's done.
Hashtag need more hockey. Anyway, so today we are talking about the worst decisions in sports that come to mind. There have been obviously a lot, so we're gonna talk about the ones we know or remember. By decisions, I mean really anything. In-game decisions like managerial or something else.
Or coaching.
Yeah. Signings, like free agent signings or trades or something like that. Off the field decisions, which as of late is pretty prominent now that we're in the age of Twitter and we see everything. So that's what we're talking about today. I think we should start off with the most recent incident involving a Dolphins offensive line coach snorting cocaine.
Yeah, that sure was a great decision. Oh my god. So the woman he's with just pulls out her phone and starts filming him doing rails of coke. And he doesn't stop to think like, hey, maybe this will destroy my career. Okay. Fantastic decision.
He is also a coach in Miami, and I heard this morning that she is a stripper, dancer, whatever you want to call it, in Las Vegas.
Wow. Fantastic.
And I got the ESPN alert on my phone saying the coach resigned due to video of him snorting white powder. And I was like, why can't anybody just say cocaine? Because that's what it is.
Because that's just the NFL's PR department. They don't want their name showing up when people like Google drugs or anything like that. Like if you Google like Dolphins OL coach cocaine scandal, you'll find it. But they're trying to limit the results you get when you like Google cocaine. They don't want NFL coach found like to be the top 5 searches. That's just smart business sense for them. But it's still like really funny to anyone paying attention. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, white powder. Oh man, he must really like sugar.
Yeah.
That baking, that flour, baking soda, all of it.
Yeah, that's probably the worst decision lately. Yeah, Dolphins coach too. Speaking of Dolphins coaches, you remember a few years ago when I think it was the special teams coach made that human wall on the sideline and tripped the kick returner, and the kick returner I think had to go out for a play because he hurt his knee, and then made the most fake apology I've ever seen in a press conference. They like called him up the next day. They're like, "Hey, why'd you do that? Why'd you stick out your knee to interfere with a play on the field?" He's like, what I did was wrong. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. It's like, okay.
That sounds like you got, like, your parents were, like, yelling at you for not taking the trash out in, like, middle school or something. Like, I'm sorry. I was wrong. It won't happen again. Fucking, come on. A little bit of effort.
Yeah. Show some remorse for almost tearing a dude's ACL.
Tell you what, here's an obscure one, but a monumentally terrible decision. 1998 Winter Olympics. Ice hockey. Alright? Mark Crawford, head coach of the Canadian team, in a do-or-die moment in a medal game, puts Wayne Gretzky on the bench. Like, takes the greatest hockey player of all time and puts him on the bench in favor of an old defenseman in Ray Bourque, who was toward the end of his career at that point. And no one knows why. They lost the game.
Really?
Yeah. I think they lost the game.
But still, why would you do that? And that's not an exaggeration. I think Wayne Gretzky is one of probably the only player in any major sport where you could say he is the greatest of all time, and there's not really a second person where you're like, oh, well, maybe this other guy. Wayne Gretzky has, some crazy stat. If you took away his goals, he still has the most points in NHL history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way anyone can compare to that. Scored, 90-something in a season?
He scored 92 goals.
92.
And that is the NHL record for a single season. And I think that was before the 82-game schedule. I think it was in some 70-something games.
That's so insane.
92 goals in 70-something games.
Yeah.
And he's got 900 career goals and 1,800 career assists. No one's ever touching that. Ever again.
Yeah.
Just better goaltending league-wide and just better defensive coaching league-wide, and defensive talent is getting better and better all across the lines. The defensive pairings, just competition is too tight now in the NHL for a guy to be able to score 900 goals in his career. They're like someone did a statistical analysis just of shot generation. Alex Ovechkin, if he was playing in Wayne Gretzky's era, would probably already be at about 800 goals in his career at 32 years old. Sidney Crosby would probably have 1,200 career points. Actually, maybe 1,400 by this point. Evgeny Malkin would have 1,000. It's insane. Like, there's talent playing today that would blow the old legends out of the water. And just, you've got better goaltending. You've got real goaltending coaches. Like, old Hall of Fame goaltenders are teaching new, super talented goaltenders how to do their thing. Like, that's making the world of hockey so much better. We're not in a dead puck era anymore. The 90s were bad. There's great competition all across the NHL now, despite Gary Bettman.
No, the reason I laughed, I don't know if it was audible, but I started to laugh pretty hard when Ryan brought up Jenny Malkin, because there was this one video that came out like probably 5 or 6 years ago, and it's this poorly animated thing, and it's Bobby Clark trash talking Sidney Crosby, and it's hilarious. and it's animated, so like people can put in the words, and then it's just this computerized voice saying the words. There's no like emotion behind it, which I think makes it really funnier.
Yes, it does.
And the one at one point, the Crosby quote unquote is like, yeah, but I think he had 2 rings at this point, or maybe only 1 at this point. It came out like a while ago, my first year at college.
They won in 2008. That was his first ring, and then they won again. Like, Crosby has 3 rings now.
I knew he has 3, yeah, but they just went back to back. So I guess
so he only had 1 at that point.
He only had 1, yeah. But he's like, but I have a ring, right? And Ovechkin doesn't. And the Bobby Clark person was like, only because of Malkin, who looks like he's from Little People, Big World.
Yeah.
I have to find that video because that video is hilarious. But yeah, that's why every time I hear Malkin, I just think of that video. This poorly animated video with good guys' voices.
Oh man. So, what's like one of the worst baseball decisions of all time?
I would have to say the Josh Hamilton contract in recent memory. The Josh Hamilton was really good.
Okay.
I don't know if you know much about Josh Hamilton. He played on the Rangers. He grew up in Texas and played on the Rangers. And he destroyed the home run derby. He ended up losing the home run derby. Many people forget that. But in 2008, he just destroyed. He hit like 35 home runs in the first round, and he just kept destroying. He set like all the records for a home run derby, like most in the first round, most overall home runs. And he was a really good player. And then the Angels signed him to a 5-year, I think it was like $125 million deal.
Jesus Christ!
And at this point, he got his past is he got drafted by the Devil Rays, now the Rays. They cut him because of drug problems. Then he played somewhere else for a little bit. Then he got clean, which was really good, and signed on the Rangers, and like kind of revitalized his career. So he's already in his late 20s and played for a few years. So I think this 5-year deal was when he was like 30 or 31. But they thought maybe he just got a late start, so he'll play longer, which isn't a good mindset to have. But the Angels, at this point, the Angels had Mike Trout. Right, this was his 3rd year, I think, and they signed Albert Pujols to an also ridiculous deal. And then they signed Hamilton, who injured his foot, so he was out the first half of the first year of his deal.
That's amazing.
Batted pretty bad the second half, and then in the off season, went back to drugs. He got caught at a bar. Right. So it wasn't like bad, but the fact that he was clean for so long and then reverted back, he didn't do anything that crazy that I remember. But then the Angels were like, we're not paying you this money anymore because you're not performing the way we thought you would. So the Rangers signed him again, and then he got injured again. But I think the Angels are still paying like 2/3 of his payroll.
Of his $25 million a year contract.
I need to double check this contract though.
That's insane though. $25 million a year.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. I'm googling to make sure I have this contract correct. Oh, $26 million a year. So $26 million if this loads. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, so he's been released from the Rangers at this point, right? The Angels signed him to a 5-year, $125 million before the 2013 season, right? The Angels, automatic playing ads, right?
Dude,
so out of the 5 years, he played 2 with the Angels, hitting .255, right? Batting average, which is not good, and 31 home runs over those 2 years. And then he relapsed, and then went back to the Rangers. But the Angels were like, we'll still pay. Like, we'll pay the contract, just he's playing for you guys now. So he's playing. He's basically being paid $26 million by the Angels to play for the Rangers, who have since released him.
God, I love retained salary contract trades. Those are so good. It's like they never work out.
Nope. Especially baseball. Baseball is the biggest one. Because they'll sign like 10-year deals, but they say if you sign a 10-year deal after 30, that's like the worst deal you could possibly make. Because like you really expect to play till 40, like at this level.
Would have worked with Yager.
Or Jamie Moyer, who played until he was like 46.
Jaromir Jagr just turned 45 and signed with Calgary. Like.
I saw Yager signed with Calgary.
That's his first Canadian team. That's the first time he's played for a Canadian team in 27 years in the NHL.
That's crazy.
It blows my mind how long this guy has been around. He's been playing in the NHL longer than either of us have been alive.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. That's like the Red Strings?
Red Wings?
I saw Red Sox on the TV, but was thinking Red Wings. So, Red Strings.
All right.
The Red Wings playoff that just ended last year. That was crazy. It was the first year since I've been alive.
Yeah. I think it was 20. Yeah, it was 25 years straight playoff appearances finally snapped because that franchise is melting down, and it's Well deserved, honestly. It's just the last 5 years have been just so poorly managed. They haven't been catching breaks in trades either, because a lot of what happens in the NHL is stupidly one-sided trades are exposed as being stupidly one-sided trades, and one team becomes a powerhouse because of stupid trades. Like the Blackhawks trading away nothing and getting a guy who helped them to 2 Stanley Cups in Chris Versteeg. Or the Blackhawks trading away nothing and getting Patrick Sharp, who was there for all 3 championships of the last 7 years. Or when the Pittsburgh Penguins traded away nothing and got their starting goaltender for their back-to-back championships in Tom Barrasso in 91 and 92. Or when they traded away nothing and got their second-line center and second-pair defenseman for those same Stanley Cups. Just robbing Buffalo and I want to say Hartford, when Hartford had a team.
Oh, the Whalers.
Yeah.
Still a great team logo.
Oh yeah, one of the best.
Yeah.
But the WHL or the WNHL, I'm sorry, has a team that got to reuse the Hartford Whalers logo. They got permission. It was great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Also, here's a fucking amazing deal. You know about it. I know about it. Ilya Kovalchuk, $100 million deal over 15 years.
I was on a cruise when that deal was signed, and we saw they apparently still got papers, I guess, somehow. I don't know, cruises are weird. But we saw the paper of, like, that deal, and both me and my brother were like, this is insane. And, yeah.
And the thing is, like, the Devils traded for him from the Thrashers.
The Flashers?
It's Atlanta. Look. No, the Thrashers, right before the 2010 trade deadline, and they tried to sign him to a 17-year, $102 million deal. And the NHL said no.
Don't do that. You know it's bad when the sport itself is like, no.
Yeah. They thought it was a structure. The structure of the deal was meant to like circumvent the cap and like stretch out the money.
It was
in
in the
such
back
a way.
end too, right?
Yeah, it was really heavily backloaded deal.
Yeah.
And I think the Devils were fined $3 million and had to forfeit a draft pick. A third-round draft pick in 2011 and a future first-round draft pick as well, which I believe was 2014. So they modified the contract to 15 years, $100 million. And
that's absurd.
Then he retires from the NHL 3 years into the deal.
Yeah, I remember that.
With 12 years and $77 million up in the air. And I think he's still on the books for them until like 2030. So he's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when the New Jersey Devils pooped the bed.
No, hockey. Well, we were talking in our pre-production meeting. The deals between sports, it's just so funny to go to each sport and see. Like, Josh Hamilton got paid $125 million over 5 years. Kovalchuk is 15 years, $100 million.
Yeah.
And even football, like, the biggest contract is, it's like $100 million or $120 million, whatever Matt Stafford just signed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not. But then Bryce Harper in baseball apparently wants $400 million over at least 10 years. And I'm just like, you want to be paid $40 million a year when you're not that good. I don't think anybody in baseball is that good. But Bryce Harper had one MVP year, and 2 or 3 other years he wasn't. He was good. Like, he's not a bad player. I don't like him because he's a national as a Phillies fan. But, like, I'll admit he's good. But to demand $400 million, like, are you absurd?
Yeah. I mean, baseball contracts seem so insane to me.
They really are. Like, baseball is just ridiculous.
Isn't it looking like Manny Machado is going to get like $300?
He's asking. They're talking about he's going to ask for $300.
That's insane.
Yeah.
$300 million.
I think Machado's better than Harper, though.
Yeah, I think Machado's defensive play definitely makes him an asset to any team.
Yeah, it's hard
and that he's
defensive
a
third baseman.
great hitter, good base runner.
Yeah.
He's the complete package in a third baseman.
It's
So I
always
guess
ridiculous.
the Orioles are going to just let him walk because they don't want to spend money on players who are good. Why would they do that?
Yeah.
They'll just wait for the next Machado to pop up in our farm system. That'll be fun.
Well, with the Orioles though, it's if they do pay Machado, they can't pay anybody else.
Yeah.
So you keep Machado and let Chris Davis / Scope both walk.
I mean, Chris Davis's numbers are sliding anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he wouldn't be a huge loss.
We
gotta keep Scope.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna be able to bring in a good pitcher, which is a problem because we want one. We would like to have one.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have a good pitcher.
Just one.
A whole one.
A whole pitcher.
For like longer than a month.
Yeah.
Like.
Not if you're as a Phillies fan. We have Aaron Nola. That's it. That's our only good starting pitcher.
We don't have a good starting pitcher. We have a good closer. We have
when used.
When used. Fuck me.
Don't mind me, just throwing shade at Buck Showalter. A year later.
Yeah. He was doing the right things the first 2 years he was here, and then it just feels like everything has been mismanaged. All of it.
There's talks he might be the Phillies manager if he gets out of his deal. He has 1 year left with the Orioles, so 2018. But the Phillies need a manager now, so I don't know how they're gonna pull that off unless they trade.
Look, you said you have a good starter. All right, you give us your good starting pitcher, and we'll give you Buck Showalter. I think it's a fair trade.
No.
And all you guys have to do is give us $100 million to pay Machado with
Cash considerations. No, we're not trading Nola. Nola's too good. But then again, knowing the Phillies, they might. That's another bad decision. In 2013, the Phillies were coming off 100. They won 102 games in 2012. Okay, 2013, the trade deadline comes, and they're in third place, and they're not out of it at the trade deadline by any means.
Okay.
They trade Hunter Pence, and they trade Shane Victorino. Victorino goes on to win a World Series in Boston, and Hunter Pence wins 2 World Series in San Francisco.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. We were like, why'd you trade him that year? You were still in it. If you bought a good player, you could have competed that year. I don't think they would have signed Hunter Pence because Hunter Pence ended up signing a deal with San Fran, and Victorino's out of the game now. So I don't think they could have re-signed him, but at least that year, you could have stayed in it.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a huge shame.
Yeah.
Biggest trade bungle I've ever seen.
Ryan using the word bungle.
I know. Look, here's the worst thing. Just setting the stage. As a Caps fan, this is a huge black eye on the face of our franchise. All right? So, going into the 2012 NHL draft, the Caps found themselves in fantastic draft position. They had 12th overall and 16th overall draft picks. That's awesome draft position, right? And we needed depth at forward. So we wanted to get a couple of guys who would be high talent prospects, and we ended up seeing a guy who was initially projected to go top 5 because of the defensive depth in this draft, slipped all the way to 12, Philip Forsberg. We snatch him up. Then we think, okay, so there's this power forward in the OHL right now. He's a really tough guy, decent skater. The offense isn't quite there, but he looks like he might be good defensively, and if he turns out to be like the next Ryan Getzlaf, that would be amazing. We'll take a gamble on Tom Wilson. And Tom Wilson, currently serving a 4-game suspension for boarding the ever-loving hell out of some Blues player. His second suspension this season.
3 games in.
Well, he got suspended for a hit in the preseason. Was suspended for 2 games, and then he came back for the final game of the preseason and boarded Samuel Blais and got suspended for the first 4 games of the season. Amazing. Great job, Tom. Love you. Now, that's not the big thing, is Philip Forsberg was looking like he might be a second or third overall pick. He looked like he was going to be great. Then he had a down season in, I don't recall if he was playing in the AHL at the time or not, but he was having a down season, and the Caps were like, okay, we need to get talent in the system now. We want to make a deeper playoff run. So they're like, okay, Nashville, we'll trade you, Philip Forsberg, for Martin Erat and Michael Latta. And,
yeah, those guys.
And Poyle, the manager at St. Louis, said, sure, probably doing everything he could to keep a straight face. Because Martin Erat started to have a couple of down seasons, but he was still showing some upside. And Michael Latta was just an extra prospect at that point, right? Michael Latta plays 3 seasons with the Caps. Martin Erat plays 1. Martin Erat immediately had a terrible season, got hurt, and fucked off to Sweden. Michael Latta scored 7 goals as a Capital, which I believe was 2 less than Martin Erat scored, and played in, I think, 70 more games. And was on the 4th line with Tom Wilson, the guy we thought might have been a better fit for the franchise than Philip goddamn Forsberg, who is now a 1st line left wing on the Nashville Predators, who went to the Stanley Cup final last year. Kill me. So, Caps trade a landmark offensive forward for nothing. Neither Erat or Latta are on the team anymore. We got nothing out of that trade, and Nashville got a star. Kill me. Why am I a Capitals fan? I'm sad now. Thanks, Sports Squad.
Do you need a nuzzle?
I do. Do we have any football ones?
Just the Patriots decision, the onside kick.
Oh,
man. That was fun. Two years ago when the Eagles were playing at the Patriots, so in New England, and Bill Belichick is up 14-0 in his home stadium and decides to go for an onside kick for whatever reason. Eagles recover and have fantastic field position, and they end up scoring, and then they get a punt return and a punt blocked return, and they go up 28-14.
Oh, God.
And then the Patriots almost make a comeback. They end up scoring with, I think within the 2-minute warning, but the Eagles luckily protected the ball, because it was then 28-21 was the final score. And, Tom Brady making a comeback, you're just like...
Yeah, you give Tom Brady the ball in the 2-minute warning. It's basically a guaranteed touchdown.
Yeah, because I was watching Red Zone at the time, and then I saw their comeback, so I switched to CBS because it was the national game. So I switched to CBS in the 4 o'clock slot, and I was like, I know I'm paying for Red Zone at this point in my life, not anymore. But at this point, and I was like, I know I'm paying, and I should watch Red Zone because that's what I'm paying for, but I need to watch this Eagles game and make sure they don't blow it. And
they almost blew it.
They almost did, but they didn't. And now Chip Kelly can say he beat Bill Belichick in New England.
Hooray! That really paid off for the Eagles. Keeping him around for so long. Man, that didn't blow up in anyone's face.
Well, they're looking good this year, so.
Yeah, but is that Chip Kelly's doing?
No.
Exactly.
They completely changed Chip Kelly's philosophy.
Yeah, and then they sent him out to pasture, San Francisco, to go ruin their team for a while.
To go on in 15 and then get fired again. And now he's working for ESPN.
I'm surprised he didn't go back to college.
You would think he could go. Well, apparently he got spoiled by the NFL. And
you can get more money getting paid at college.
Yeah, but college is recruiting and a lot of off-season stuff.
Yeah.
And apparently he just was tired of that, and they were like, yeah, you should just go back to college where your system worked, and you were dropping, 40 to 50 points a game with your high-flying spread offense and your wacky play calls, and it was working. And yeah, he apparently just didn't want to do it anymore.
I can understand that. I mean, just thinking about you have to make so many recruiting calls in a day.
Yeah, You have to suck
make
up
visits, that sort of thing.
Yeah, sucking up to 17-year-olds.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so.
17-year-olds are like the worst.
Yeah.
The only thing worse than the 17-year-old is a 16-year-old.
Yeah, teenagers.
Fucking assholes.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
Nah, some teenagers are. Like, it's at my job, I'm just like, how are you, how? How are you behaving like this? And my school doesn't have that big a population, so, like, high school in my program is pretty small, but it's still, like, there's, like, 3 or 4 kids. I'm just like, how do you get away with this, like, anywhere else? Like, you obviously do, because, like,
you wouldn't be doing it here.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's at home or if it's just the way they are, but I'm just like, do you not know how to function?
Ugh.
Luckily, I don't teach them middle school.
Middle school is awful.
Yeah, I won't get too much into my job, though. But, yeah.
So we've got Chip Kelly victoriously and amazingly destroying the Patriots in like the Blunder Bowl.
The Blunder Bowl. Yep. It was actually, I think it was late in the season, if I remember correctly, and the Patriots started like 12-0. And they were like, well, Patriots started 12-0. There's a good chance they go 16-0 because they're the Patriots. And they lost to Denver, and then they lost to Philly the next week. Because they were like, oh, lost to Denver. They're going to bounce back. Philly's not good. They're like, I think they finished like 9-7 that year out of the playoffs. And they were like, no, Bill Belichick will figure out Chip Kelly's system. Goes for an onside kick up 14.
Yeah, see that I wouldn't say that's Chip Kelly succeeding. That's more Bill Belichick.
Special teams
brain
succeeded.
fart.
Yeah, because I had the Eagles defense / special teams on my fantasy team, and I was like, they're playing in New England, they're going to get destroyed. Right, and fantasy wise, they scored 25 points. The Eagles defense. I was like, no, why? You're on that bench with 25 points because it was like a fumble return and a punt return and punt block. I think they only scored 1 offensive touchdown.
That's too much.
They scored 4. I think they scored 4 defense / special teams touchdowns that game. So yeah, Chip Kelly's offense didn't really help, but
oh well.
Yeah.
Got anything else for baseball?
The 2011 World Series, there was a bullpen blunder on the Cardinals-Rangers 2011 World Series.
Right, you were mentioning this in pre-production. Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like the ownership wanted to send in a righty and the manager wanted to send in a lefty?
It was so complicated. It was a lot of stuff happened. It wasn't just one person to blame. But Tony La Russa, the head coach of the Cardinals, it's Game 6, right? And he pulls out the bullpen phone, like the old school, open it up and instead of, having a tablet or something.
Right.
Because baseball is so old. So he pulls out the bullpen phone and calls the bullpen, and he wants a righty. I think it was a righty. He wants a righty to come in, but apparently they couldn't hear what he said. And then he motioned for a lefty, so they're like, who do we send out? So they sent in the lefty to face a righty instead of a righty facing a righty, like right-handed batter. And then they ended up getting like a double and like scoring, and like I think they took the lead and won that game. But then the Cardinals won in Game 7, so
it panned out.
Yeah, but that bullpen decision was, whew.
That's rough.
David Freese. Yeah.
Tell you what, how about
15 minutes of fame?
How about the Philadelphia 76ers
Getting
getting first overall draft picks like 4 times in a row and drafting a center every time?
Except this year, Fultz isn't a center this year.
Yeah, but I think didn't they do it like 2012 to 2016?
We talked about it on the draft episode.
Yeah. I remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah. 76ers draft picks.
See, you don't have a loud mechanical keyboard like Blake's, but you're still typing loud. Like,
Alright, so. It doesn't say what positions they are.
yeah.
That's stupid.
Positions don't matter in basketball. There's just center and point guard, right?
That's
those are the two positions, right?
Well, so they drafted Markelle Fultz this year.
Okay.
They drafted Ben Simmons, who's a point guard, but he grew 3 inches since the draft to last season. So he's a 7-foot tall point guard.
Good God.
Jahlil Okafor, who is horrible. Joel Embiid, who I love Joel Embiid with all my heart. So he's a center. When did they draft New Orleans Noel? Or did they trade for him? I guess they traded for him because he's not on the list. But they still got him, and so they did have 3 centers instead of and they traded Michael Carter Williams, who was a point guard and won Rookie of the Year with the Sixers. They traded him, so it was kind of like, what are you guys doing? But
the only thing we know how to do is rebuild.
Yeah. We're rebuilding. It's been 7 years, guys.
Hey, I mean, it's not as bad as the Edmonton Oilers. Oh, man. Deep playoff run in 2008. Didn't work out. One guy left on without a contract. Let's sell everything.
Fire sale.
Oh, my God.
Well, that's how you
did not make a playoff appearance until 2015. Until Connor McDavid lifted that broken, dead franchise out of its grave and into the playoffs, where they got soundly annihilated in the first round.
It's like the Spider-Man scene. It's the comics, and it was in Homecoming, where he's lifting up the rubble off in the water.
You know what sucks? I didn't watch Spider-Man Homecoming. I've wanted to, and I just never had the chance.
It was also a comic book panel. So,
okay.
I wasn't sure if you Rubble scene comic cover. This maybe this. That is Connor McDavid and the Oilers. The dialogue, I don't really know. I was just imagining the picture.
Him basically picking up an entire damn building?
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically what it's like. That's what being Connor McDavid is like.
And it gets you an 8-year extension.
Yeah. Oh, and then they sign your best friend to a $70 million deal, even though he's not $70 million worthy.
Yeah.
Talking about you, Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, Leon.
He got a 7-year, $68 million deal. That's fucking insane. He is not going to live up to that value, even playing on Connor McDavid's wing.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. He's not a $70 million player.
There's some it's kind of like the elephant in the room. There are always players in every sport where you're just you're not that good as much as you want to think you are.
Yeah.
And I feel like that always comes back to you're like, oh, well, he's had 2 bad years, but he's been good in college. And then it's like, well, he's not good now. When will he be good? And that's kind of in every sport. There's always that one player. He's like a platoon guy, or he's a 3rd to 4th string guy.
I'll tell you what's a bad draft decision. The Ravens taking Brashard Perriman in the first round the other year. His dad had degenerative knee problems, which ended his career in the NFL, and it's a genetic condition, and the Ravens didn't do their research. And
who does research?
Yeah. So they wanted a speedy route guy, and we're like, yeah, he's fine. Oh, shit, he's injured. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. And he's got, I don't even know if he has 100 NFL catches yet.
Jeez. In what, 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, I think 3-4 years.
Didn't Antonio Brown have 100 catches last year?
Yeah, the century mark is the mark of an amazing receiver.
Well, yeah, that's obviously above average, but you should.
If you have 70 catches, you're you're a lock for your roster spot for the next year, pretty much.
Yeah.
70 catches, you were there, you were making plays, right? Hasn't made 100 catches yet, I don't think.
That's
missed his entire rookie season with the knee injury. Missed some of his second season with the same knee injury.
Yeah.
And hasn't looked like the fast guy that we wanted to draft. Oh, God. Who is the guy we wanted a wide receiver, and we had a choice between Brashard Perriman and Dorial Beckham-Green. We could have picked Dorial Beckham-Green. We should have picked Dorial Beckham-Green.
As an Eagles fan, you dodge a bullet with him.
Did we?
Yep.
Did we dodge a bullet?
I mean, maybe it would have worked out better had he gone to the Ravens, but last year on the Eagles, he was horrible. He was supposed to be the receiver that led these young rookies like Aguilar and Jordan Matthews to be better because there's a seasoned vet they can work under. And he thought because he's 6'5", 6'6", he doesn't need to jump for the ball. But that's what you do as a wide receiver.
You jump.
So Carson Wentz would throw it. So if he jumped, he would get it. And the 6'2" receiver, the defender couldn't, but he didn't jump. And it goes over his head.
That's rough.
Like
Also, the Ravens had a chance at Dez Bryant.
Yeah.
That was sad. The fact that I don't even remember who we got instead of Dez Bryant, but we took someone, and we took decidedly not Dez
The fact
Bryant.
that you didn't
Is
don't
just
know who
sad.
you took.
I mean, I could just go through drafts over the years and look at the picks the Ravens have made and players who have come after those players, and just be like, well, oh. I mean, you can never say like, oh, if the Ravens had drafted him, he would have had exactly the same career. You can never say that.
Yeah, it's hard to look back. But some you're just like,
Some you're like,
good
how?
enough, but, yeah.
Why?
I think a bad decision on the Browns' part, one of many, would be drafting Johnny Manziel and thinking he'd be your franchise quarterback.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But he didn't even start week 1, and then.
And like the thing is, like people were saying, like before his senior year in college, like, oh yeah, this guy's a lock, NFL starter material. Like he looks great. Yeah, like he's looking great. And then his senior year, like people are evaluating his game and seeing like how can he slot in, like what does this guy need to learn to be effective at the NFL level? And people are starting to say like, no, he's not going to work out.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a good quarterback. And everybody's like, okay, yeah. And then some people who weren't paying attention like, yeah, he's a top 10 pick. It's a lock. And then like
he drops
top
down.
5 goes by, his stock's dropping a little bit. Top 10 goes by. Top 15 goes by. And the Browns are like, wait. We've never done draft research in our lives. What's a name one of us has heard on ESPN lately? Manziel. Manziel, they called him Johnny Football, right? Let's do it. Johnny Football.
Still on the board. He'll be our next franchise quarterback.
Yeah. I think I saw a picture of a Browns fan with a jersey that
the quarterback name.
all the like 20 quarterback names, and it was like started off with like Tim Couch, right? Yeah.
They've had like 25, I think, since 2002, their last playoff run. And they just switched quarterbacks again this year. They benched Deshaun Kaiser.
Why? He's actually looked okay.
Soze,
Kaiser Soze? I think you're
No, it was because I made that Deshaun. I'm going to Google it. It's not Kaiser Sose, but that's a joke I made it on Twitter about Browns quarterbacks. Deshaun Kaiser. Yeah. And they benched him for Kevin Hogan.
Right. Because Kevin Hogan looked okay.
He played decent yesterday.
And he actually played all right against the Ravens in week 2. Because Deshaun Kaiser was getting annihilated, and then they took him out of the game because he had a migraine or something, right? And Kevin Hogan steps up, and he starts an offensive drive. And then he gets them a touchdown, and they start going. And then Deshaun Kaiser's like, okay, I'm good to go back in. And then, like, the coach was like, the Ravens are on their heels. Hogan is rolling. Like, this looks good. Hogan just threw one interception. He's throwing a touchdown. He's starting to rack up yards. Tell you what, let's put you back in, Deshaun. 3 more interceptions. Ravens somehow, like, they got 5 turnovers in week 1, 5 turnovers in week 2. Right? That defense was looking amazing. Go to England. Get annihilated. Get embarrassed by the Jaguars overseas.
Don't hate on the Jaguars, though, because they beat the Steelers.
It's still embarrassing. You go in with 10 turnovers in 2 games and an offense that does not they score 20 some points both games, and then they scored, I think, what was it, 10 points against the Jaguars, or was it 9? I can't.
In London?
Yeah, in London.
There was 7.
It was 7. Right.
Yeah,
they didn't
because
actually
they
take a field goal. I'm thinking about the Steelers game,
Steelers
where they also got embarrassed.
Yeah.
At
Because
home.
of 2 pick sixes and 5 interceptions off Roethlisberger, who should retire.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Jaguars Steelers. I'm talking about Ravens Steelers, where the Steelers went up 26-9 on us, and I was at the game, and like the most significant thing to me that happened in that game was that I got sunburned. Like the Ravens had nothing going the entire fucking game. It was sad.
Bounced back yesterday, though. They got the win yesterday.
Yeah, they did. They played really well against Oakland. In Oakland.
Yeah.
And then people started to try and fight Oakland players. Like, that was wild. Did you hear about that?
No.
Okay.
Why would you try to fight anyone from Oakland?
One of the
Have you seen their fan section?
No, here's the thing: is an Oakland fan threw a bottle at one of the Oakland players' cars and tried to get him and started screaming at one of the offensive linemen. I can't remember his name.
Why would you pick a fight with an offensive lineman?
So that he kicks your ass and you sue him. But he threw a bottle at this $400,000 Rolls Royce. And he got out of the car, and they start yelling at each other. And then he thinks twice about it, gets back in his car, like security's intervening, dragging the guy away. But that's how Oakland's getting. They know their team's leaving and moving to Vegas.
Yeah.
They want a playoff run. Like that's
they could have had one last year, but
they could have had one last year. They want a playoff run this year, and Oakland is collapsing. And the fans have lost.
Got injured.
Yeah, Derek Carr got injured, and the Ravens put up 30 points on him.
Yeah.
But Oakland still put up 17 points against that vaunted Ravens defense that forgot how to defense for a little while. But it's also just that they've lost a lot of guys to injury. Again, 2 years running, like 40 injuries. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Oakland is imploding. And moving on to Steelers Jaguars. So 2 pick sixes? I didn't get to follow any football this weekend. 5 interceptions.
5 interceptions, 2 pick sixes. Yeah. It's the first time Roethlisberger has given up 5 interceptions since 2006, like his rookie year.
Damn. Really, his rookie year was 06? I feel like he's been around longer than that.
Or maybe his, I don't know. I could just selected Squad Nation. No, I think he was drafted in 04 with Eli and Phil Rivers.
That sounds
I think
more likely.
Then. Yeah.
The Ravens were still riding the boulder coaster.
Kyle, I should have been a bowler.
Yeah.
Man.
The most inconsistent offense in sports.
Yeah. Oh, we need to end on. We got a few minutes to spare, but we need to end on the worst contract I think in NFL history, and that is Matt Flynn, who backed up Aaron Rodgers for a couple years, and when they clinched home field or clinched a playoff spot, week 17. They're playing the Lions, and the Lions are playing for a playoff spot. Packers already in.
I remember this.
Matt Flynn throws 6 touchdowns, signs like a 4-year, like $50 or $60 million deal to the Seahawks, who just happened to also draft Russell Wilson that same year. And Russell Wilson beat him in off-season, and then they traded him somewhere else, and I don't even know if he's still playing.
God, I feel like he went to the
deal.
Vikings.
He might have been on the Vikings for a little bit. But the Seahawks were like, hey, you threw 6 touchdowns in one game. That one game you played in 2 years. We'll sign you to a ridiculous contract and then draft our franchise quarterback.
Yeah. God damn. I mean, you gotta...
Who went on to make 2 Super Bowls and win one of them and should have won the other one.
God. Ugh.
That's probably a bad decision, too. Passing instead of running.
Yeah.
You have Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. Beast mode.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you guys not remember that run he had against the Saints? He didn't need to score a touchdown. He needed a first down.
Yeah.
And destroyed everyone in his path. And then you're on the 2-yard line to win the Super Bowl against Brady.
It's wild. It's fucking wild.
But yeah, I think that we're at 52 minutes. So.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah. It's good to get Ryan on Sports Squad. Hopefully the schedule might change so you can be on more.
Yeah, hopefully. That would be
currently
nice.
on our scheduled day because of my second job schedule, but that might not be maybe. before. So.
I mean, unfortunately, I just can't do Tuesday recordings.
Yeah. So.
Unless we were to do it like way earlier in the day.
Yeah. Which when I have to be at work at 7:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Unless you want to start recording at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like the Arch Advice episode when they're recording. It's the best time for recording for film. Jug down, jug down.
God, I love Archer. I wish Dreamland was better, but
yeah. That's
we can't have them all.
Yeah, like I said, we might switch to another day.
All right.
Well, yeah, that's been the worst decisions. Yes.
Squadcast episode 3, 4, or 5.
SportsSqwad episode 3, 4, 5.
Oh God, I said Squadcast, didn't I?
You did.
I'm sorry.
Right, Ryan.
SportsSqwad episode 3, 4, or 5. I'm never here because you guys were like, "What's the day that Ryan works every day of?" Oh, hey. Let's record this thing Ryan wants to be a part of.
Kelven has off 2 days.
You sure didn't have off today. Damn it, Kelvin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll be done by 1.
It's 3 o'clock.
It's now 2:56, and Kelvin has not shown up. Yeah. Anyway, that has been SportsSqwad.
That has been throwing salt at Kelvin. All right. A new SportsSqwad tradition.
Throwing salt at whoever isn't here.
Or it could just be at Kelvin.
Or just at Kelvin. Next episode, we literally throw salt at him. Like,
okay, that's fine.
Salt shaker. Like that one.
Pocket salt.
Smoop bomb.
All right, Squad out.
Yes, Squad Nation.